Support for this podcast comes from the St. Alphonsus Neuroscience Institute, offering technology to provide treatment for neurological, neurosurgical, and neurointerventional conditions. This includes a dedicated neurotrauma ICU for critical care of the brain or spine and a 24/7 stroke team. More at stalphonsus.org.
Boise State Public Radio and Duck Club Entertainment present the Charlie Hunter Trio.
Charlie Hunter Trio, everybody.
Wednesday, March 18th at the Shrine Social Club in Boise. Blending jazz, funk, blues, and rock, Hunter is a guitarist, producer, and bandleader who will present his unique finger-picking technique on custom hybrid guitars. Tickets are available now at theduckclub.com.
From Boise State Public Radio, it's Monday, March 3rd, and this is the Connector Idaho Daily News. Good morning, I'm Troy Oppie. This morning's headlines: Idaho's governor could have the last word on a new law preventing local governments from imposing restrictions on short-term housing. The search for Boise State University's next president resumes. And how many proposals should Idaho lawmakers be allowed to introduce each session? A new limit is being proposed. But we start with a new effort to repeal Idaho's voter-approved Medicaid expansion program. Several lawmakers say it's too expensive. Governor Brad Little has not supported the idea, and the latest effort to kill the program is officially underway. As James Dawson reports, a House committee introduced the bill Monday.
If approved, the measure would eliminate Medicaid expansion in 2028. The program ensures the working poor who earn too much money to qualify for a federal subsidy. Republican Representative Lucas Kaler says Medicaid expansion offers coverage to those who have other options.
There are entirely way too many people, able-bodied adults, who are not working and are not participating in any type of volunteer or additional educational opportunities for themselves.
Last year, both state and federal lawmakers passed legislation requiring expansion enrollees to work, study, or volunteer to qualify. Republican Representative Dory Healy voted against introducing the bill. She says efforts like those need more time to bear out potential savings.
I feel like we need to see where those cost savings make an impact in our states, and that this is extremely hasty.
Healy's motion to kill the bill failed by one vote. The measure could go to a public hearing as early as this week. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
An update now to a story we've been following and reported on this legislative session. After twice voting to cut a tuition benefit for Idaho's National Guard soldiers, Joint Finance Appropriations Committee members late last week restored that program's $190,000 in funding to next year's state budget. A bill to bring back a presidential primary election in March of presidential election years passed the State House with no floor debate. Lawmakers in 2023 legislation consolidated elections to save money, but they didn't allow for a presidential primary, and efforts to revive it legislatively have stalled since, leading to an in-person GOP caucus in 2024 attended by just 7% of registered Republicans statewide. The House bill would require candidates to pay $50,000 to get on the Idaho ballot. That's to help offset the more than $2 million a standalone election would cost. It's not clear what traction the proposal has in the Idaho Senate, where a separate bill that would combine the presidential primary with Idaho's regular May primary election was introduced but has not yet received a hearing. Idaho Governor Brad Little could have the last word on a new law preventing local governments from imposing restrictions or local taxes on short-term housing, like private rentals available through online sites Airbnb and others. The legislation is similar to two previous efforts. It has often pitted real estate owners who say restrictions on short-term rentals are unfair and burdensome against residents and leaders of small resort towns like McCall and Driggs, which say they need tools to use to address problematic issues with vacation housing. The bill limits safety requirements for such rentals to basics like fire extinguishers, fire and carbon monoxide detectors, and it requires operators to only meet occupancy limits found in standard code. It also prohibits noise or nuisance ordinances from applying to short-term rentals if the ordinances do not already apply to other residential properties. The bill passed the Senate Monday, one vote shy of a veto-proof majority, and now goes to the governor's desk for his consideration. He can sign, veto, or take no action, and the bill would become law after 5 days. Idaho lawmakers will consider limiting how many bills they could introduce each year. The proposal is from Republican Senator Jim Guthrie. It would set the maximum number to 10.
If we can temper the quantity, then we can enhance the quality.
There would be exceptions for certain issues like budget bills, and lawmakers could exceed the limit with permission from leadership. League of Women Voters of Idaho President Jean Henscheid says her group would welcome the change. She says the legislature spends too much time on bills Idahoans don't care about.
We spend more time whack-a-moling these bills at the expense of following legislation addressing budgets, free and fair elections, health care, the cost of living, education, natural resources, and the environment.
That proposal cleared a Senate committee yesterday and now goes to the Senate floor. The search for the next president of Boise State University is resuming, with the State Board of Education's search committee stepping firmly on the gas pedal. In a statement released Monday, the committee says it will, quote, maintain momentum from work already completed, unquote. That's after its previous search process halted when the group couldn't bring 5 finalists to the board publicly for consideration. Lawmakers last month passed a law allowing such searches to have just a single public finalist instead of 5. As the search resumes, applications will also be accepted from new candidates, and the board says it has refined the job posting to reflect greater, quote, emphasis on financial and strategic leadership. They also say additional opportunities for input from the campus community are being envisioned, and they hope to have a new president in place by the start of the fall semester. When state lawmakers are accused of bad behavior, State House justice begins with an ethics trial. Under a new bill introduced Monday, those trials in the Idaho House would no longer be open to the public. Here's our James Dawson doing double duty on the connector for us this morning.
The proposal from Republican Representative Vito Barbieri would keep all ethics proceedings secret. That's unless a committee finds a member has violated the law, didn't disclose conflicts of interest, or otherwise their conduct was unbecoming of a legislator. Here's Barbieri.
Because this is an internal matter, because this is an ethics issue within the House itself, the only time that anything would come out would be when the Ethics Committee makes a report to the whole House as to a recommendation of an ethics violation.
The most recent ethics trial came in 2021 when a legislative intern accused former Representative Aaron Von Ellinger of raping her. He was later convicted of rape by an Ada County jury and is serving a 20-year sentence. Barbieri submitted a letter to the judge in Von Ellinger's criminal case attesting to his character, calling him, quote, an upstanding person, genuine in character, and straightforward in thought, end quote. The bill would also exempt ethics complaint records from public disclosure and prevent attorneys from representing parties within the case. The proposal needs to clear a public hearing before it could reach the House floor. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
The number of homes being destroyed in wildfire has been on the rise in recent decades. As the Mountain West News Bureau's Murphy Woodhouse reports, researchers say such blazes add more pollution to the atmosphere than previously known.
Using new data, a team of scientists has assembled one of the first comprehensive analyses of emissions from homes burned in wildfires. What they found is that such pollution is serious and in some cases can even exceed emissions from all other human sources.
However, it's currently not accounted in any operational air quality forecast system.
That's Wenfu Tong, lead author of the new paper in the journal Nature. For hydrochloric acid, one of the pollutants studied, average annual emissions from home losses between 2016 and 2020 exceeded all other human sources in California and Tennessee. In Colorado and Oregon, burned homes surpassed human sources during at least 1 year. Tong also noted that exposures during wildfires are much more intense for those nearby than exposures from year-round sources. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Murphy Woodhouse.
The Cassia County man who pleaded guilty to a killing spree last summer across 2 southern Idaho counties was sentenced yesterday to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Benjamin Naylor admitted to killing 4 people and accepted a plea deal to avoid the potential of the death penalty at trial. Investigators say Naylor carried out the killings while having a schizophrenic episode. Some family members of victims shared their grief during yesterday's sentencing hearing. KMVT television reports Naylor apologized for his actions during his own statement to the court, saying there was no excuse for what he did. Heartbreak Monday for Boise State women's basketball. They get upset 68-66 in the Mountain West Tournament Conference semifinals by Air Force, a lower seed the Broncos had beat twice in the regular season. Boise State is ranked 116th in the most recent NCAA net rankings. Those came out Sunday. That means they're a long shot for the postseason tournament invitation, and the Lady Broncos season is likely over. The men will get their chance at the Mountain West Conference tournament starting tomorrow night. We hope you're enjoying The Connector, Idaho's daily news podcast. If you are and you've stumbled upon us, please like and subscribe to come back again every morning and share us with a friend. That's how we grow. And growth is, of course, very important to long-term success. This and other Boise State Radio podcasts are on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever you're listening right now. And thanks for listening. Hope you have a great Tuesday. We'll be back with you again tomorrow morning.